So, as we all know, Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Gennadiy Golovkin, Triple G, fought for a third time recently over in Vegas. Fight was shown live on the Zone pay-per-view. Fight went the distance, it went the whole 12 rounds, and Saul Canelo Alvarez successfully defended all his belts, remaining the undisputed 168-pound champion of the world. Now, leading up to this fight, there were talks about the pay-per-view this, pay-per-view that, and yeah, it was $85 here in the US or $65 if you are currently subscribed to the Zone. So Dan Rafael went on to report that this event, the Canelo Triple G event, was able to sell around 550,000 to 575,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States. Yeah, it says right here 550 to 575,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States, multiple industry sources told Fight Freak Unite on Tuesday. One of the sources said the fight had a chance to hit 600,000 buys. So I would say maybe 550 to 600, maybe. So 550 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys. So when he reported this, a lot of people like Eddie Hearn were criticizing this this number, saying that it's false, this and that, and the Zone released the numbers, and the Zone released, and it's from Dan Rafael again. The Zone released that the Canelo Triple G fight did 1.06 million pay-per-view buys globally, around the world, globally. And then he went on to say, my report was a disappointing 550 to 575 in the US, which accounts for the mass majority of the revenue given the much lower price in every other territory. The Zone didn't include the total revenue generated from the global pay-per-view. So yeah, because with this reporting right here, Eddie Hearn was saying that it's false, this and that. I mean, he said right here too. He said that Dan, of those buys, the huge majority were in the US. You were well out. If that's the case, why don't you tell us exactly how much did it sell in the US then? If the Zone's not gonna tell us, we're gonna go with other reliable sources like Dan Rafael, who has, is very connected to the sport, who has been around the sport for a while now. So I do believe that the event definitely, at least here in the US, sold around 550 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys. Globally, yeah, I believe 1.06 million pay-per-view buys. I believe it sold that for globally. Because if you guys don't know, this event, Canelo Triple G, was available in 6 different regions on pay-per-view, on different prices. In the US, like I said before, it was $85 if you are not subscribed to the Zone, or $65 if you are currently subscribed to the Zone. In Canada, it was $65 if you are subscribed to the Zone, and $90 if you are not subscribed to the Zone. $90 for the Canadians, man. I feel bad, bro, if you're not subscribed to the Zone. In the UK and Ireland, it's £10 or €10 if you are subscribed to the Zone, and €18 or £18 if you are not subscribed to the Zone. And in Australia, it's $45 if you are subscribed to the Zone, and $60, basically $60 if you are not subscribed to the Zone. And in New Zealand, $25 for current subscribers and $40 for new subscribers. How many countries are those? US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. 6 different countries, all on pay-per-view. My goodness. Of course it's gonna sell over 1 million. If you put this shit in Mexico on pay-per-view, it will sell fucking 5 million. Oh man. Yeah, it I don't know, man. Yeah, if they put if the Zone put this fight on pay-per-view on over in Mexico and in Kazakhstan, I'm sure it would sell probably close to 10 million, depending on the price. But yeah, it's around the world. No surprise that it sold over 1 million. But I truly believe Dan Rafael that the event sold around 550 to 600 here in the US, because I don't think it was that big of a big event here in the US compared to the previous 2 fights. The fight was a little too late, Well, not just a little too late. It was way late. Should have happened a few years ago. Basically, right when both fighters signed with the zone, it should have happened then, but it didn't. Canelo's coming off a loss against Bivol. That took a lot of steam off his popularity. I mean, he's still a very popular fighter, but he that's a loss. A loss is a loss. Not now. People, the haters are satisfied of him losing. They're no longer gonna tune in and buy just to see him lose now. Coming off a loss will definitely affect the pay-per-view buys, in my opinion. Triple G is old, and he hasn't been that active over the past few years since the second fight. So, there's just a lot of factors that go into why this event didn't sell so well here in the U.S. And I truly believe it didn't sell too well here in the U.S. Well, actually, in today's world, I guess 550 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys is a good number, especially with the amount of pay-per-views we've been having lately with PBC. PBC has been putting a lot of their events on pay-per-view, and it barely, none of them really sold over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I still haven't heard or read anything about the Andrew Ruiz pay-per-view. Andrew Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Did that event sell good? Like over 500,000? I'm not sure. I don't think it did. They would have released the number if it did. Or I haven't come across it. But yeah, for today's terms, I guess it's a good number. The amount of pay-per-views that they sold for this event. But yeah, a lot of people are criticizing Dan Rafael's story about this. But Eddie Hearn still has. If you're not gonna release the pay-per-view buys for the U.S. alone, then we're gonna have to go with what Dan Rafael is reporting. So until Eddie Hearn or the Zone releases the total amount of pay-per-view buys from the U.S., 550 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys is the amount in my mind for this event, which is what I expected. I wasn't expecting this event to sell over 1 million here in the States. So yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening and watching, and like always, have a great day. Alright, thanks.